Today's webinar is being sponsored by Axendia and hosted by MedTech Intelligence. Axendia is a leading analyst and strategic advisory firm focused on life science and healthcare markets. Axendia provides trusted advice to industry executives on business, regulatory, and technology issues based on primary research data. Now it is my pleasure to turn things over to Sandra Rodriguez, Market Analyst with Axendia. Sandra?
Welcome, everyone, and thank you, Patty. Today's webinar will include an overview of the results from our recent research study and a roundtable discussion on the current and future state of change and configuration management in MedTech. I'd like to start by telling you about our speakers. Bill Dinicenzo works within the Global Manufacturing and Quality Group at Fresenius Medical Care. Bill is a lifelong process improvement professional with more than 35 years of experience. He leverages the principles, tools, and techniques of continual process improvement to help organizations deliver bottom-line, sustainable results and drive significant business value. Ugo Felix leads a team at Bard Access Systems that develops vascular access, ultrasound, and long-term implantable port access devices. He has over 20 years of experience in medical devices, pharmaceuticals, and in vitro diagnostics with companies such as J&J, Roche, Siemens Healthcare Diagnostics, as well as startup experience. Finally, Dan Matlis is founder and president of Axendia, an analyst firm providing trusted advice to life science and healthcare executives on business, technology, and regulatory matters. Dan has over 25 years of experience in the industry, spanning the entire value chain. Now, to set the stage, I'd like to first make you familiar with terms used throughout the research. We asked survey respondents, how strongly do you agree with the following statement? We have a closed-loop change and configuration management process. Now, in an open-loop system, the desired output only depends on the input signal. However, in a closed-loop system, the desired output depends on the input and the feedback element. When you hear the term closed-loop change and configuration management, we're referring to a collaborative and concurrent approach that allows medical device manufacturers to leverage information for better decision-making, thus yielding more effective, higher quality, and safer medical devices. Going back to the survey question, we grouped respondents who strongly agreed that they had a closed-loop change and configuration management process and those who strongly disagreed into two separate categories, namely innovators and laggards. Based on the diffusion of innovations theory, innovators are willing to take risks, have the highest social status, financial liquidity, are social, and have close contact to scientific sources and interaction with other innovators. Laggards, on the other hand, are the last to adopt an innovation. They show little to no opinion leadership and typically have an aversion to change. Laggards generally tend to be focused on tradition. And now I'll go ahead and turn things over to Dan.
Thank you, Sandra. We've been hearing about change and configuration management, and as Heraclitus said 2,500 years ago, change is the only constant. But with that said, our research shows that 63% report that their change and configuration management process is less than effective. So while we know that change is constant and while we know that the rate of change is increasing, we don't yet have effective change and configuration management processes within medtech organizations. And that's not surprising, given the fact that when we ask respondents what are the change and configuration management issues that keep them up at night or worry them the most, the top answers were that their processes are slow and cumbersome, and then they're also very concerned about the unintended consequences resulting from making a change. And this is a result of having an open system rather than a closed change and configuration management process. The other key points were compliance concerns, the inability to close the loop on change and configuration management processes, the inability to deliver products on time and on budget, and also the lack of management commitment. So what I'd like to do now is open the questions for our panelists and have a discussion on this topic. So, Bill, if the only constant is change and the rate of change is increasing, in your opinion, why are change and configuration management processes less than effective for so many organizations?
So, Dan, thank you for the introduction, and Sandra and Patty. I believe that we as an industry, the device manufacturing organization as a whole, do not look at change as something that is what our business is all about. I've been with Fresenius for 11 years, and prior to that, I was in the high-tech world where change happened at an incredible pace. And when I got into the medical device manufacturing world, I realized that, yes, change has to be regulated, but that sometimes gets in the way of us actually wanting to do change.
Yep, that is so true. Ugo, what's your perspective on this topic?
Dan, first, thanks for the introduction and for the opportunity to participate in this discussion. I think one of the big barriers to the effectiveness of some of our systems in general, and the change specifically, is the lack of perspective of some of these tools and processes as enablers to help us manage change instead of a compliance checkbox, right? And a lot of times we get implementations that are just trying to address the needs of a subset of the organization or a particular, slice of the change management, trying to close either an observation or something somebody noted in the organization. And so we do get some of these systems are what I call, partial or incomplete implementations. You don't get visibility from the entire organization or an adequate participation of the entire organization, and that can lead to problems.
Yep, that is so true, and we'll go into a little bit more depth as we move forward in the session.